What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at Howl's Moving Castle. This is a Studio Ghibli, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to say it properly. Please let me know how to say it properly in the comments below. And we're going to be taking a look at that as an anime review. Because me and my girlfriend watched it recently. It is one of her favorite Studio Ghibli movies alongside Princess Mononoke. So that is going to be tomorrow's film review, anime review, whatever you want to call it. It's kind of a both. It's like a hybrid review. And anyway, this one has everyone's favorite one-eyed green pea voicing a fire. Mike Wazowski is the voice of the fire in this, which is what actually got me hyped and excited to watch this. But without further ado, let's get into what Google has to say about this before we go into what I have to say about this. So, going over to Google, Howl's Moving Castle, everyone's favorite Studio Ghibli daddy. It got a 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb and an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. Jealous of Sophie's closeness to Howl, a wizard, the Witch of the Waste, transforms her into an old lady. Sophie must find a way to break the spell and help of Howl's friends, Calcifer and Marquis. Sorry, I struggle with names in this. So, Sophie, our main character, she works in a small village, and the Howl Castle comes through. I do believe they're at war as well, because a lot of planes come over, and Howl wisps her off her feet and takes her on a little dance, a little flight around the village. And when she gets put down, she goes back to her hat shop where they make hats and dresses and fashion, and a witch comes in and curses her to be an old person. Her mother then comes into the room and is like, "Who the fuck are you?" And she runs away. She goes to find Howl's Moving Castle, and she befriends a scarecrow along the way. I fucking love this scarecrow. He's like one of my favorite characters in this movie. He's just so good. He's like the goodest of boys. And he helps her traverse these great fields, these mass mountains, these rocky climates, which, to be fair, she's an old lady, so I'm very proud of her for fucking getting through all this. And, yeah, she ends up actually finding Howl's castle. She manages to climb aboard, and the little kid is like, "Hey, I'm Howl's apprentice. You shouldn't be here. There's 3 door colors. You never go through the black one. I do believe the blue one takes you to the seaside, and the red one takes you somewhere else." And she's like, "You know what? I'll be your maid. I'll clean for you." And she cleans the entire castle because it is so dirty, so disgusting and gross. Because, you know, the flame guy is like a little prick. He doesn't want to do anything for anyone. No, sirree. And the little wizard boy's like, "Yo, I gotta learn how to do magic." And Howl's gone half the time. So she's taking care of the castle, and the little Zebedee, little scarecrow, hops along and follows them and comes aboard as well. And I do believe he actually gets stuck at one point. But he's adorable, and we all love him. And this is where I start to forget the story, not gonna lie. I do believe they try and go see, like, this royalty to try and trick them into doing something, and Howl can't go, and he has to disguise himself, and he tries to disguise himself as, like, a fly, but Sophie thinks he's a dog, so she brings a dog with him. And then there's this really fat witch, which cursed her to be old, who can't get up all these stairs to, like, the main room where this sort of rich person is. And they're like, "Oh, fuck." And I do believe she ends up, like, passing out. And I do believe she's bigger every time we see her on screen, which is fucking weird as well. And anyway, they get to, like, this royal room, and they have a discussion. Howl comes out, they have a brawl. He's, like, part black feathered creature. He's, like, part crow, which looks really fucking badass, but it's like a curse that he can't break, and he's slowly dying. And he needs to get healthier, needs to be healed. So they continue to try and get him healthy. He comes so close to dying, but with Sophie, she makes him better. And they live happily ever after. She turns young again, and that's practically the movie. I skipped over quite a lot, but that's because it is an excellent movie, and I do believe you should go and watch it for yourself. The animation is incredible. Studio Ghibli animation never disappoints, and the characters here are like so iconic. Studio Ghibli characters are always iconic as fuck. And the fire is my favorite one from this. Like the fire and the scarecrow, the most underrated two, and my personal favorite two. Everyone's all about Howl, Big Daddy Howl, but nah, I like Howl in his like crow, like half human, half crow form. That's badass as fuck. I think he's like a real big badass when he's part crow, and he's like constantly trying to protect Sophie and save her, and Sophie's trying to protect him and save him, and they learn to love each other and grow a special bond with her being his maid, and the kid is just there. I'm gonna be honest, the kid's quite annoying. The fire's cool though. The fire, I genuinely can't get over the fire. No one can control this fire. It's like an uncontrollable force that heats up the entire castle. And I do believe they do like a death scare towards the end where he's supposed to die and be put out, but he actually comes back to life. And, you know, Sophie threatens to put him out multiple times unless he, you know, puts out some more heat. So that's also really funny and adds to a lot of comedy of it. And gonna be honest, the comedy in this hits a good like 50% of the time. It's very hit and miss. I think the Fire's comedy's great. His sarcasm, his comedic timing, all on point. The fat jokes with like the fat witch, pretty basic, pretty like boring and like overdone and quite like, you know, big on body shaming. So, you know, not too good there. But this is a very old movie, so the times have changed, and times are changing quicker with technology. And again, with it being this quite old animation style from Studio Ghibli, it's very nostalgic. Even though I'm gonna be honest, put my hand on heart, and I've never seen a Studio Ghibli movie before. Before this one, this was like my first experience with Studio Ghibli. So yeah. Yippee, I'm sorry to everyone who I've just offended by never watching any and probably starting on this one. I don't know, I thought it was cool. I thought Howl being this like big mysterious character towards the start, just being like a wizard was really cool. You know, just the aspect of magic in general is quite cool and quite often used in Studio Ghibli movies. And I'm quite happy that I watched this one. I got distracted towards the middle, not gonna lie. And that's why I forget kind of what happens in the middle area. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie. That's all you really want from me is a good review of this movie. Characters, there isn't too many that you constantly try to like remember who's who and it doesn't overwhelm you. But it isn't too little that it gets boring, if that makes sense. But everyone does get enough like their own fair share of screen time. Everyone gets their own fair share of character development. And I'm gonna be honest, the Scarecrow steals the show. I love that fucking dude. He's just so funny and stupid. I love that guy. Would be friends with him, not gonna lie. Would dap him up all the time, just going past. Honestly, Scarecrow's a legend. And that's pretty much all I have to say on this film. There isn't really much else. Animation, good. Voice acting is fucking excellent. They got Mike Wazowski here to play the Fire. Personally, that's an excellent choice. His voice fits that like annoying, sort of whiny little bitch side character that thinks he's big and hard. Mike Wazowski thinks he's all this, that, and the other. When he really isn't that scary. So he fits the voice of the Fire perfectly. Because the Fire thinks he's all this, that, and the other. But he really isn't. And the sort of chemistry that they build over the film with Sophie and Howl is quite interesting as well, with them sort of learning to love each other and becoming more friendly to each other and talk to each other. And honestly, it's like a really good film. The visuals and the movement of the castle is so cool. It's so freaking awesome where it jiggles and like stomps around. And just the animation on every little piece of it as it's moving is just so cool and unique. And you can tell they definitely put a lot of effort into this. I feel like some of the background characters are quite boring and like secondary characters aren't too interesting and don't really do anything for the plot. And they're just sort of there to sort of fill up runtime. However, that's just my personal opinion. And There isn't much else to say about this. I kind of covered everything which I liked about it, and everything that I didn't really like about it, which isn't that much to be fair, but I am going to still give it a 6. I'm happy that I watched it. I'm probably never going to watch it again unless someone's watching it with me. That's how I sort of am with anime. I'll watch it once and I'll be like, okay, that's fine. And the only time I'll ever watch it twice is if I'm rewatching it with someone who hasn't seen it before or who just wants to watch it again. For example, the only reason I've watched Jujutsu Kaisen 6 times is because my girlfriend absolutely loves it. If she didn't like it, I probably would have only watched it the once, and that would have been it. And I haven't ever rewatched anything else other than My Hero Academia and Avatar: The Last Airbender because one of my friends wanted to watch it, and I was watching it with them, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah. Other than that, there isn't much else to say, so I hope you all enjoyed this YouTube video. I'll see you all next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and stay home and stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next one. If you do have any other, like, films, anime, TV shows, movies, Studio Ghibli movies in particular that you want me to review, please comment them down below, and I'll get on it as soon as possible. And that's pretty much it from me. Bye-bye.